Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. And welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another edition of HCW Show Squared, the show that has officially progressed past the original HCW Show podcast, which is episode 80, and we take everything from that defunct podcast and expand to the power of, you guessed it, 2. I'm your host. As always, I've been here since day one. Well, kind of. I am Dan, DP, or as you all say nowadays, DpuizY. Yeah. And I am joined, as always, by the everlasting co-host himself, Mr. Impact Craig. Craig, how you doing on this record-breaking episode?
You know me. It's that M-I-C, Craig, a.k.a. Mr. Impact. I'm all good. It's been a couple weeks, and a lot's happened. But I'm ready to talk some NXT and a whole lot of shit. I can't wait to talk about it.
Absolutely. And it wouldn't be a record-breaking episode if I didn't have someone new to share with you all. For the first time appearing on this podcast, I am joined by DpuizY. DpuizY, how are you doing this fine day?
Oh man, I'm good. Oh yeah. Yeah, get a little Randy Savage in there.
Of course,
I'm good.
He's probably the least problematic of the guys back then.
Oh man, I'm good. Thank you for having me. I didn't know I was on a record-breaking show. You didn't tell me that when I first got on.
I wanted to save it because I didn't realize until a few minutes ago. Anyway, it was meant.
That's fine.
This was meant to be a different format. This was meant to be me and the original co-hosts last week. But plans fell through, so it is what it is. So this is now episode 80.
It's fine, man.
And this is the one that is going to be officially progressing past episode 79, which was the limit, or the last episode of the original podcast that covered Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, Collision. But yeah, how are you guys? For me, it's quite surreal being at this point. 8 episodes, 80 weeks of NXT coverage.
I'm okay. I'm not. Getting straight into NXT. I think NXT's in a really good place. I would not have made some of the decisions that they would have made, but that's me personally, and I'm sure you guys have those same opinions.
To some extent, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got feelings on it, but yeah, it's good to be back. And I realized something the other week that we've now crossed a year since I joined.
Yeah, I was looking at that as well the other day. Because I think your first episode was episode 29, 30, something like that.
So it's just after Vengeance Day.
Yeah.
The stars seem to be aligning for you guys.
It's ridiculous. And speaking of stars aligning, there are things that happen on this episode that you can say the same thing for.
And lines were crossed.
Yeah, the road was definitively blocked, you could say.
Yeah. Most definitely, yeah. No, Roadblock in the past has been a main roster because I know that was like the one thing that they did with Dean versus Triple H on the one show for the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Ambrose, aka John Moxley, for those of you who watch AEW as well.
No, I joke. I used to be a big AEW head. Now there's not so much, but I used to be. So I fully get it. But
yeah, I watch it. So I don't watch the Saturday stuff, but the Saturday stuff and everything seems to be getting better. So they seem to be getting into a better direction. Mm-hmm. But we're not here to talk about AEW. We're here about NXT.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
So yeah, this is of course HCW Show Squared. What's the word? I haven't read the word now. But your dedicated NXT podcast based from the British Isles, featuring a not British person on today's episode. Who says that we can be to only Brits? We have Americans on, the Canadians.
Our world's on fire. How about yours?
I mean, ours is politically on fire, you could say.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I just wasn't. I just didn't say politically.
NHS falling apart, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. With that in mind, let's take a lovely distraction to the world of wrestling.
Yeah.
As we talk, NXT Roadblock for the 11th of March 2025. It is official at this point. Stand Deliver is about a month away. However, there is a roadblock. So, let's talk about it. So the way this works, for those who are unaware, like Jersey, for example, I'll go through matches and segments, backstage things, vignettes, talk about what happened with like in a vague sense, because at the end of the day, we're just people giving opinions, and this shouldn't be taken as gospel. If you do want to watch the show, please go out and seek it yourself and form your own opinions based on what you watch, rather than what you hear from what we say. This should always be digested after you've seen the show, rather than watch this first and then the show. But sometimes it can be the other way around. But please do not take what we say as gospel, because again, opinions, reviews. That's how it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with that out of the way, this is basically Roadblock, and this is going to be, there's no filler, nothing in between, there's a lot of people who are getting to the arena and stuff like that. So we get into the first match of the night. It is for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. We have challengers, Fraxium, Nathan Frazier, and Axiom, taking on one of perhaps the most legendary teams in professional wrestling. Maybe arguing one of the best tag teams in professional wrestling, depending on who you ask. The
best
Hardy Boys, or the Hardys, or Team Extreme, or whatever you want to call them. It is Matt and Jeff Hardy, who are the current TNA Tag Team Champions. I'm
not on camera, but I'm doing the hand thing that Jeff does.
Yeah, Craig.
Where he's just doing it up and down, but you just don't see it because I'm on camera. Because I'm not on camera.
For any audio listeners, Craig also did all the hand movements as well.
I've got it covered.
Yeah.
So matches as well. Like, I'll go very vague into it. Like, just sort of give the result, star rating, and a general opinion of what I thought, and I'll pass it over to you guys to do the same as well. If you want to rate it yourself or give an opinion, up to you. So, who would win in this monumental affair? Would Fraction be the first team of NXT to take anything from TNA? The simple answer to that question is a resounding no. As the Hardy Boys win and retain following a twist of fate to Axiom and a swanton bomb on Fraser. I rated 3.5 stars. And my first thought was maybe the Hardys do still have it. Because in the past I've said that they don't have it. Maybe because they're doing with Fraxium, that they've had to put in the extra effort to try and keep up with them. But it's what it was. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. It's nothing I want to see again, personally. But I think we are going to get a rematch at some point. Yeah, a very solid note for me there. I don't really have much on it, to be honest, other than just that.
Yeah. So I got a little. Since this is a special episode, episode 80, my 1 year anniversary, I thought I'd do some star ratings.
Hey.
For this one, I give it 4 stars. Oh my goodness, I really enjoyed this match. I mean, first of all, the Hardy Pop is just legendary. Never underestimate a Hardy Pop, because it's just people want to see the Hardys still, and it's exciting. But I was honestly surprised that Fraxium didn't win. I went to the match thinking Fraxium were going to win these titles, and this is how it will start.
Precisely, yeah.
But either that, or I thought perhaps the system would get involved in some way, costing Fraxium the match, or just setting something else up. Didn't. Clean finish. Crowd were insanely hot for this one, and I was getting hyped just listening to them. Listen to the crowd. I'm for me, the Hardys are the greatest tag team that's ever existed, and they always will be, in my opinion. So, first of all, it's weird hearing. I think it's talked about last week, but Lillian Garcia saying the words "the TNA World Tag Team Champions" is so weird to me. Mike Rome, I'm used to him saying TNA because it's happened a few times now, but it was kind of surreal. The match itself, I knew the crowd were going to pop for the plot twist. I knew that was coming. It's not often I get drawn in with a near fall, but after the Spanish Fly into the Phoenix Splash, I thought it was over, and so it's not often it gets me. So full credit to everyone involved in that match because it was just insane. I loved it. I really enjoyed this match, and I'm excited. I'm predicting Cal for title at Stand and Deliver, personally.
I would say if I was going to give it a star rating, I think 3.5 is right on the money. I think that's the correct star rating to give this one, because I've like watching the Hardys, and you have to admit they are older. They are not as agile as they used to be. I'm more of a fan of Fraxium because unlike Craig here, I don't watch TNA all that often. But I am familiar with like the Hardys and the Hardy compound and all that. It's hard to not to be. The match overall was good. It was a good starter. It really got the crowd hot. I will say overall, like just the setup of that ring and that crowd in the background with like the cameras like on the stage, such a great choice of venue. And it's been something I've been noticing with NXT and with AEW both, going to these smaller venues and selling out these smaller venues versus going to these big, giant, cavernous arenas and only selling half of the seats. Like, I went to NXT Stand and Deliver last year in Philadelphia, and even then, not the entire arena wasn't filled, but you could look around and see like there was empty seats here and there, but it didn't sound like it. So people were definitely into all these matches. So definitely seeing that crowd in that Madison Square Garden like theater, the setup was amazing. I thought the way that they pictured the crowd behind the wrestlers and the wrestlers, doing their moves and the crowd reaction, it really added to it. So you could argue the bump to the 4-star, like Craig said, maybe a 3.75 at the most. Someone's calling someone else. In the background. You could argue 4-star. I'd probably go 3.5. I think it was a good match. I'm definitely kind of curious the direction in which they're going to go with the tag division, because the tag division for NXT overall, because the Hardys can't be around forever. So you have to either the Hardys take the belts off of Fraxium and they become a double champ, or you have someone come in that's new, like this new group that we'll probably talk about later, and they take the titles off of them. Who knows? Maybe some random LFG group will take the titles off of them. But it was good starter match.
Swipe left.
Absolutely.
Swipe left.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I agree with everything said. I can't. To me, it's sort of hypocritical of myself to say I enjoy this, because essentially in my mind, this is how I've sort of cast it. It's doing what they've done with Javon Evans, doing what they've done with Trick Williams, and now doing it with Fraxium. In that Trick Williams was endorsed by CM Punk, he was endorsed by John Cena, he was endorsed by Bubba Ray Dudley. Like Javon Evans was endorsed by Bubba Ray Dudley, by Randy Orton. Like, it's bringing in part-timers or old-timers, or what you want to call them, to bring up the newer stock of wrestlers.
Bailey with Roxanne,
Exactly.
helping build Roxanne.
Precisely, yeah. It's just, this to me feels like the same thing. Even though I know it's technically cross-promotional because it's TNA and not WWE, but
it's XWE stars.
Yeah, that's what my main issue falls with it. And I was never really a Hardy Boys guy. I was always more Edge and Christian. Hardy Boys for me were, a glorified one-trick pony act, like in the 2000s. It was, they did their one thing. Matt had his leg drop, and Jeff did his high flying stuff, and then that was about it. They weren't necessarily good at the wrestling thing. Of course,
yeah.
My bit of a hot take. That's how I see it. Otherwise, I did enjoy the match here. I just thought it was mainly Fraxium is the reason why I enjoyed it. If that makes sense.
I do see where you come from that. I mean, with Trick, for instance, it was every couple of months, maybe a couple of weeks. Oh, here comes Undertaker. Here comes Cody. Here comes Punk. Here comes whoever. Here comes Bully. It's with Fraxium. This is the first time that they've done this, and yeah, it is interpromotional to an extent. I mean, WWE has released new merch for the Hardys.
Yeah.
As technically contracted TNA superstars. But, I'm guessing, I don't know the logistics of that one, but for Fraxium to have the match with the Hardys want to face them to, who's the best? Because, Javon didn't wrestle Punk, he didn't wrestle anyone who came down to endorse him.
He did wrestle Randy.
Randy.
Okay.
He wrestled Randy. He lost, but he wrestled.
Javon did, yeah. I was talking about Trick. Javon did. Again, Javon, that was just once. Randy, there was no promo before it. Randy wanted him at.
It was one of those special, up in Massachusetts, in one of those arenas kind of shows.
So,
yeah.
For Hardy, like I said, this is interpromotional. Now, they are the TNA World Tag Team Champions. Even though they can call them the Hardy Boys, but TNA can't call them the Hardy Boys. But just make sure I get that part in. So I feel like we are going title for title, and I think the Hardys are going with NXT tag titles because it's a safe bet in terms of someone from TNA holding a WWE title, because they're going back there anyway. And I think this is all leading to that. Hardy Boys going back to WWE. This all is leading to. But I just want to clarify with my star rating. Is that it originally it was 3.5, but because of the crowd reaction, I had to boost it by an extra half. That's my rating expense.
I'm gonna bump mine up to 3.75.
I'm not gonna change mine
because of the crowd.
I'm being stubborn.
So, I mean, at least out of all of this, we got Axiom wearing glasses over his mask.
That is true. We did get that.
I just posted the picture in the chat.
How does that work?
It's so good. It's so good.
It reminds me of goodness. I don't know if I don't necessarily know if you'll be aware of it, Jersey, but
yeah.
Craig, do you remember the Invisible Man? Like the old 1970s, 1960s character.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. He had the wrapping around his head.
Yeah,
he wore the glasses.
He wore the glasses, and he just have a floating pair of glasses, that's how Action wearing glasses reminds me, basically, of that.
That's great. I saw the image and I'm like, I have to share this with my friend.
Also, I think
Jeez.
they're Dudley glasses, right?
They're deadly classes, yeah. Him and Frazier both had it. I just cut Frazier out.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But
yeah, I think
moving on.
with that in mind, we should probably move on. This reminds me basically of that. Like,
that's great. I saw the image and I'm like, I have to share this with my friend.
also, I think
Jeez.
they're So we go backstage now, and we're joined by Jada Parker, and this is the first time that we'll see, you know, a cameo from WWE's newest show, LFG. Let's Legends of Future Greats. So Jada is joined by Coach Mickey James, and is basically
Anybody needs a coach.
Yeah, of course. And telling her that she
Sorry.
needs to claim her spot at the top of the mountain. Mickey is literally just there to be like, you go, girl, you get it, you get that bag, get that title. You know, you do what you want to do because you are you. And that's literally about it. Like, it's more about Jada not seeing herself in the same... So she does see herself in the same league as Stephanie Vaquer or Julia, but the powers that be don't let her be there, so she'll take it for herself, essentially. And that's the main crux of it, really.
I feel like Mickey James should have said, "You go, girl. Just don't express your opinions on Twitter." Because how Jada Parker is still employed by WWE, I have no clue. But that's
I mean, like, I was doing it too political, but like, if Logan Paul still got a job, then you know, it can let us know later.
Yeah, very true.
True.
Yeah.
So we'll get more into Jada at the end, but she's getting hyped by an ex-WWE legend.
Mm-hmm.
Again, so now she joins that list of Trick, Javon, Fraxium.
Let's see. Trick gets Cody.
Cora
Javon
Jade
gets Randy
with Bailey and Roxanne with Bailey and
yeah. Jada gets Mickey James.
I'm fine with that. Mickey James is a legend among the women's wrestlers.
That's hardcore country right there.
Exactly,
my
hardcore
goodness.
country.
Baby, it's just me. I'm not the biggest Mickey James fan.
I really wanted an interaction between Mickey James and Fallon Henley because they teased it a little bit. I wanted to see that on TV, but they didn't do it.
They're both
See that
hardcore country.
that I would have popped for.
I'm teasing it. Do it. Dang.
Do it. But yeah, after this, we are still backstage with the family. Stax is here and he's beating himself up because he for not getting involved and also for not helping Tony D win the match against Sean Spears, essentially. Tony D's understanding of this because he comes in, but he's also quick to remind Stax that he's not the one who makes the calls around here. Stax then informs Tony that he's arranged for a 6-person tag match against Spears' group, but he leaves out Tony. So himself, Luca, and Rizzo against Nico, Brooks, and Izzy. Tony's like, why am I not in this? But eventually he agrees to it.
So we've got another match where 12-minute match where the women maybe get 3 minutes if they're lucky.
Maybe not even that, to be honest.
Yeah.
That match is all about building up Nico because Nico's been the focus of like the underlings.
So it's probably going to be either Rizzo getting pinned or the lawyer getting pinned.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because there's no way Sean Spears there's no way they're losing this Sean Spears group.
It's probably going to be Jensen or Nico pinning them. It'll probably be Nico to push the group.
Mm-hmm. But I think we are as well approaching a time when Tony D is going to make main roster soon, because they're building up Stax now as this as like this question of like he's questioning the leader sort of thing, like questioning that the decisions being made, and making calls for himself. So I feel like we're going towards the underboss becoming the boss, while Tony goes to the main roster.
That's the thing, like Tony is saying, "Oh, Stacks has got to make more decisions. He's got to lead more." But then he gets annoyed when he does what Tony asked.
Yeah.
Like, kind of both ways, bro. I'm so worried for Tony if he goes to the main roster.
Oh, same.
So worried.
That's a big worry for me too.
Yeah.
Is
like
Tony's gimmick in NXT works well, but Tony's gimmick on the main roster is very sink or swim.
I want to say.
Will the
Go
ahead.
Sorry, go on.
His gimmick is very much a Vince McMahon created. Like, I want a gimmick that you would have seen in 1995 with the new era. It's a mob boss. Like, okay, maybe you could hit that on the main roster, but time and time again, and this is something that is more of a complaint with just NXT stars going to the main roster overall, is if you think you get stuck in a really bad creative position and they don't book you and eventually they just release you, versus you do well, you get over and you become a really big star like a Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo's a swim story, whereas I feel like you have to change his gimmick up to be, and you really have to surround Tony with people on the main roster too. Tony is not a person who can go out there and do things on his own. He needs underlings.
Yeah, but that's also a thing. Like, other than like Carmelo, like people who come up from NXT are either in charge of underlings or they are the underlings.
Mm-hmm.
Like look at the Creeds and Ivy Nile, for example. Like while they're with Chad Gable and they're a fantastic fit, don't get me wrong, but they didn't come up and be themselves. They came up to and now they're Chad Gable, because before that they were doing not much anyway by themselves.
Yeah.
And now Chad, American made, great faction, but they're not their own people. They're just Chad's underlings.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ivy. She wasn't even part of the group until 6 months ago.
Yeah.
She was doing that whole thing with Alpha Academy, like just posting TikToks essentially.
And also something I want to point out is, with NXT specifically, there are at least 3 groups where it's 3 guys and a female.
Oh, they're like that group.
2 of those groups are going up against each other, and it's the family and it's the whatever the other group's called. I forget what it was.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but they're called the Culling.
The Culling, yeah. So the Culling and the family have 3 dudes and a female, and then there's the No Quarter Catch crew, which have 3 dudes and a female.
Mm-hmm.
So all OTM has to do is add another dude, and they join that conversation.
They were for a while.
Or, mix up a little.
Yeah, they did, and then they cut them.
Fatal Attraction, add 1 guy, 3 women, 1 man.
Yeah.
That would give like beautiful people with cute kip vibes.
Yeah. but there's definitely groups that are forming. They're slowly starting to create groups.
I'm not a huge fan of that booking idea.
No.
I think, not pointing fingers, but obviously, creative booker, Trips or Shawn Michaels even in NXT is looking at New Japan, for example, and being, oh, cool, the entire roster is either part of a main unit or part of a faction of some kind. So why don't we do that with everyone who's not a main star on the main roster or in NXT? Who's not a main star on NXT, I mean. And everyone gets paired together because they have a certain, ideology, or because they come from a certain background or whatever. Like, and then because of that, you lose your own identity because of that, and you're just that group that you're part of that group now, rather than you're that person.
This little page there I just shared in the group chat. It shows you the teams and groups in NXT, as well as other promotions. But
Yeah,
it really that really shows you like they are definitely leaning towards okay, we can book 6 people in one match, have it go 10 to 12 minutes, and everyone gets their stuff in, and then we can move the story forward. So definitely, I don't mind groups. I mean, definitely if you're definitely a New Japan fan, you're definitely a fan of groups because you probably are a fan of a group.
I don't mind groups. It's just I don't want the entire thing to be booked around that idea.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Like, I like the way
But-
Raws. I like the fact that Raws that have multiple groups. They're still main stars who are not part of those groups. It's just I would like the mid card to have some definitive people in it.
Oh yeah.
Rather than you're in the mid card, you're part of that group now. Like
Even the
you're not CM Punk. You're not.
Oh,
Seth
you want to
Rollins.
stand out? Oh, you want to stand out and be special? No.
Even the Women's United States Champions form a group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, Chelsea Green would benefit from a group or being leader of a group.
Yeah, definitely one that's good with comedy. Plus, you now have 2 people who have history with each other. Because if you're familiar with NXT Europe, you know, Piper Niven and Piper Niven and Alpha Fire. Piper Niven and Alpha Fire, they have history. You're definitely going to see something there happen, but we're not talking about that.
No, but yeah,
for me, it's always going to be Viper and Kaylee Ray. Always Viper and Kaylee Ray.
Oh man, I want them to give her Kaylee Ray back. Give her name back, damn it.
Honestly, why not? I can see it happening now because that tag team.
She's not a witch anymore.
Yeah.
Powers. She lost her powers.
Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of powers, let's move on to the next match of the night. We go on to the second match, which is an unofficial number 1 contenders match for, I'm assuming, a women's title. I don't know which one. It is the single match between Jordynne Grace and Roxanne Perez. Now this, I was looking forward to a lot. I like Roxanne Perez. I like Jordynne Grace. I have no doubt that these two were going to put on a good match, and by God, they did. So, Jordynne wins with the Juggernaut Driver, which I believe they might be calling Beast Mode now. I don't know if they changed the name of it completely, because I didn't hear the word Juggernaut Driver used, and it said, "Oh, Beast Mode," and I was like, "Okay, is that the name of it now?" But yeah, I rated it 4 stars. The match. I thought it was a great match, especially for a first time meeting, like 1-on-1. I mean, and you'd always assume that it was going to be good. Consider
What up? First time 1-on-1? No.
It was the first time because we blocked out the previous one. It's fine. It was going to be good because. No, to be fair, that is a mistake on my part. I wrote my notes that before realizing it wasn't the first time.
I feel like WWE just forget all mentions of history.
Exactly, it never happened. This is the first time meeting.
Botchamania comes in and it's like, wait a minute.
But yeah, so these two have a natural chemistry, and it is so good to see on the screen. And these two just duke it out completely. I love it. But my only nitpick for this match, and I could be wrong, as I've been already, but 90% of the match was Roxanne. Jordynne didn't hit much in this match. Besides the signature and finisher, and then that was mainly it from her side of the defense. I could be wrong, but that's all I can recall of what Jordynne doing. Like, most of the match was Roxanne working on the legs and the arms. And then suddenly Jordan hits a finisher and boom, Roxanne's out. And I get that could be an out of nowhere thing, or look how strong she is. One move and you're out, sort of thing. Like, but to me, it kind of just took me. It took the flow out of the match for me, and actually won just like that. And I enjoyed it until basically until the ending. Still good match,
Yeah.
and I presume Roxanne's going to move on now to Raw SmackDown, because I don't know what more she can do in NXT now. Because I assumed it was going to be Stand Deliver, but obviously Julia and stuff like here happened on this show rather than Stand Deliver, so they're moving forward.
They could do Cora Jade versus Roxanne at Stand and Deliver, and that's Roxanne's final match in NXT before she moves up to the main roster permanently. But if this was supposed to be Roxanne's final match before she's on the main roster permanently, and potentially setting her up for a Mania match of some sort, and not just throwing her into the pre-show all-women's battle royale that they do every year. Actually, no, they haven't done that. They haven't done that like the last 2 years. Actually,
It's been the last 2 or 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, they should. But I mean, if it was her final time on the roster, it's not a bad match to go out. I would not run this again. Not because it was bad. It wasn't bad. It was a good match. I would save this for the main roster when Jordan Grace is up there then. And then you can really show the crowd, like, these two have met once in NXT, and show highlights, which that's really a big fault on WWE as their own is, hey, we don't, like, they promote NXT, yeah, but, like, show highlights of their matches. And maybe people are like, say, like, hey, we're going to post this match on WWE.com or on WWE, like, Facebook or whatever, and go watch the full match and check out this match because it's really, really good. Like, here's this person's past performances. This is why you should be hyped about this person. And they really fail at promoting their own people like that because they just throw them onto the main roster. And that's not a worry I have for Roxanne. She's been there for a couple matches. She's been fighting with Bayley. She was in the Elimination Chamber. She's good. I think she'll be just fine on the main roster. She'll definitely be able to swim and she'll do well. I don't know what her ceiling is yet, but it's high.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I did enjoy this match. It's because these two are so good. They're so good, and it's never miss. Their match at Battleground. Yeah, that was more easy to telegraph. I guess, in that Jordan wasn't gonna win the NXT Women's title at that point. And that's kind of like a tryout match for Jordan. But even though they're tied at 1-1 now in singles competition, they can't do it again. They can't not a stand and deliver anyway because it's too soon. And where can they really go with it? I did pick up on what you were saying, DP, about it. 90% of the match being controlled by Roxanne. Although I did think they did a really good job of like focusing on the knee. Jordan's not 100% because Roxanne keeps going to that knee. Every time Roxanne, chop blocked or bent the knee over the I can't think of the word. Turnbuckle. Like, I winced like that because, but they did a really good job of it. But yeah, honestly, from the last two matches against Roxanne, Jordan hasn't really been showcased all that well, and that's kind of disappointing because They keep saying, "Oh, Jordan Grace came to NXT to be part of the best women's division," but I mean, what matches has she had? Roxanne's her first match as a contracted superstar, right?
She's fought Roxanne twice. She's part of that. I think it was that 10-woman tag, wasn't it? As well.
I'm talking WWE contracted. At that point, Jordan was still under TNA.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. It was very confusing why Jordan Grace went back to NXT when she was definitely. I had to make sure my mic was on before I started talking. I did, but like it's very interesting to see Jordan Grace go back to NXT, and it's like, is it I have unfinished business in NXT to get that NXT title, or is it more I'm going to NXT because they want me to learn their style a little bit more, sort of thing. Like, I can understand both, but it just very much when she debuted, it really confused me and the people I watch NXT with, and we're like, huh? Like, definitely, like, you should be on the main roster. You've been in the Rumble twice. You probably should have been in the Chamber, maybe. Give or take an opinion or two.
Mm.
I really do. Like, she is main roster material. She's main roster ready already, but that again, that's just my opinion. And WWE have their own like, oh, we know what we're doing, so we're gonna book this person this way because we're smart, and that's not always the case.
No, absolutely. I think it's that whole, homegrown talent versus independently made talent.
Exactly.
Obviously, people come up through WWE, like Bianca Belair's, right? They are molded from the very moment they come to WWE, and to be the wrestlers that WWE want them to be. And I think, and we've seen this now with like the recent batch signings. Like we had Julia, we had Zarya, we had Stephanie Vaquer, who are all independently made on their own roster, on their own areas of the world. Like Stephanie was big in Mexico. Julia was big in Japan. Zarya was somewhat big in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah.
Like, they all made their names elsewhere and learned different styles that way, which isn't necessarily the WWE way. So I think there's an element of, spend 6 months to a year in NXT and then learn that style and learn how to be, quote unquote, the WWE way.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, maybe it's a way to introduce them to the wider WWE audience. Even though Jordan Grace is known to an extent, it's still very much the pop of Jordan Grace was louder than it was in the first year, but there's still a few people who haven't been too familiar with her. It's not like Joe Hendry, because Joe Hendry, he'd gone viral many times over for like 2 years straight.
Yeah.
So with Jordan, everyone kind of familiar with Jordan Grace because she's a powerhouse. She competed in the Arnold Classic, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's also a way to introduce Jordan Grace to the WWE audience on a wider spectrum.
Yeah.
Kind of surprised they haven't gone after her husband yet.
They will.
I definitely, if there's anyone who is going to take that title off of Oba, I think that's him. I would definitely see that match. I think that would be a really great match between Oba and Jordan's husband. Oh God, Max Gresham.
Gresham.
Yeah, Gresham versus Oba would probably be a damn good match.
It'd be a good match, but I don't think Gresham's got a good chance at all of beating Oba.
See, there's my armchair booking right there. Oba versus Gresham, man.
I mean, obviously, we're out of subject, but like on Gresham, I don't know where his seating will be in NXT. I think it will more likely be around the Heritage Cup, and that's kind of.
I
can see that
mean-
because he's more a technical wrestler, and that's more like where the technical aspect goes to the Heritage Cup.
Yeah, he'll feud with Dempsey because they had a match in TNA and Gresham beat Dempsey.
Yeah.
So, like, they can carry on from that. But yeah, anywho.
exactly.
Yeah.
But next match.
Yeah.
Yes.
So after that, we go backstage with Remy, and he's walking around. He's looking around. There's things going on, and suddenly he encounters a dong. I think it's dong to be more precise.
Bong.
He is encountered by a stray Undertaker, who is just chilling out backstage, I guess.
Yeah, but Undertaker does appear to have quite the Oba semi.
He to be fair, he does. He does.
Oba, I want you to go out there and beat that TNA guy.
That's a good impression to be fair.
I am the Undertaker. That's his eyes rolling back.
But no, shout out to President Nikki for that amazing slip of the tongue.
Goes to leave, she's at the top of the ramp, she's doing a little pose, and then Undertaker's dong hits, which sounds hilarious. Dong.
Sometimes you saying dong words didn't make it better. It actually just made, and doing this as well. Undertaker's meaty dong hits. And
He just slaps his dong out, and
Twice now.
Undertaker is an Oba feminist.
Yeah. So Taker says basically that he's been watching him for a while, and he's impressed, and that tonight is a big night, and Oba should know that, and he needs to defend his yard. And then he gets the immortal fist bump from Taker, which Taker is well known for.
I mean, he gave it to Jeff Hardy. Give it to John Cena. Like, yeah.
I want to see like the dead man Taker though, like with the full outfit, just doing like a fist bump.
God, remember that time that Undertaker was in full gear outside the Cleveland Cavaliers like locker room, hoping to meet LeBron, and LeBron's like no, so they set out one of his teammates instead to take a picture of them. Like it was like Jordan Love or something. Like I think that was his name. It was his teammates.
Yeah.
Like man, that's basically what it would come down to.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The Undertaker having a match in NXT would be interesting.
How about a match TNA?
I don't know.
Taker was at TNA Tapings a long time ago. He met with Eli Drake and Ty Valkyrie
Yeah.
at TNA taping. Like, so it might have happened at one point.
Maybe.
I mean, the door is open.
Literally, the door is now open.
I mean, with that door, close it and lock it. I don't want him to get anywhere near TNA.
Taker versus Top Dollar.
With the WWE ID thing and you seeing WWE stars pop up in certain places, and WWE now being more open to stars going to like Shinsuke going to Noah, and they sent a couple NXT guys to Noah, and Noah sent a guy back to the United States on excursion. You could really see anybody nowadays come into NXT unless you're AEW. So, unless, hell froze over and Tony Khan comes out and he shakes Triple H's hand.
I mean, with this relationships with going to be working with pretty much everyone, like I think it's going to be adapt or perish.
Yeah.
In work relationships with wrestling.
Like this is going to be the new normal in the wrestling world.
Yeah.
They're definitely Oba fighting Moose here. Getting into that match, it was transitioning into the match. It was a good match, but I think that was the next match.
It was next, yeah, but there was first a Trick Williams vignette.
I knew there was something.
It's just him running, basically, and like.
We've done that. We've done the frigging Rocky thing with you, Trick. Enough. Is that all you can do? When you're determined to win a match, is that all you can do?
It's like he's running.
Hey.
He's running around New York, basically, and he's like, "Yeah, Ed, I'm gonna whoop that ass, boy." Yeah.
Just
Anyway,
no.
moving on from that travesty, we go to the third match of the night for the men's NXT World Championship, because I know there was some debate about it being both titles on the line here, because that's how they announced it last week. But it's not. It's just Oba's title. It is champion Ovemi taking on challenger Moose.
You want your 5-star matches? You want your 30-minute classics? Not me. Big meaty man slapping meat.
And now we ask the question: TNA defending their titles against NXT. Would TNA be able to take an NXT title away and bring it back to TNA? And the answer would be a resounding no. Because Moose loses as Oba wins and retains following a spear reversal fall from grace. I rate it 4.25 stars. This is the kind of match that people tend to mean when the phrase beef is said, or two meaty men slapping meat. Because this was a great big man match. I've never been fully sold on Moose, but this match here helped me realise that Moose is actually quite decent. And Oba retaining here is the right, of course it's the right choice. But the question in my mind now is, what's next for Oba on his route to Stand Deliver? Because theoretically you can't do Tony, because Tony's A, partly injured, and B, he's got the thing with Sean Spears. So who else is on that? Like, or do you bring someone for TNA to do it, or do you bring someone from main roster to do it?
I've got a theory.
Taker.
Who's not
I've got a
doing
theory.
anything right now?
Taker.
No, no. He's a wanted man.
Ditto.
Nick
Bon Jovi. No.
Nick Nemeth.
I mean, we are
NXT champion.
Oh yeah, Nick.
Yeah.
We're definitely
What?
setting up for.
Ooh.
Because
I
there's
just
something. Because Oba has no clear route now. to Stand
Well,
Deliver.
we are setting up Oba for. We are definitely like Trick Williams has. In that last segment, Trick Williams has his match coming up next week.
Mhm.
That's probably going to be a quote
Oh,
unquote
God,
number one
yeah.
contenders
I
match.
forgot about that. Yeah.
And the winner of that's going to go on to face Oba, and
I forgot
you
about
know it's
that.
going to be Trick. Trick's going to get his win back,
I forgot.
and so we're going to get Trick versus Oba for the title at Stand and Deliver, and Trick's going to get the title back.
No.
Unless they plan to move Trick up, and then Oba retains, and then you have Oba, and then you ask the question, okay, well, what now with Oba? Because he's ran through most people who are there. Like, looking at the current NXT roster,
Yeah.
in forms of like facing heel,
Mm-hmm.
you have Rich Holland, and they list Oba as a face.
Yeah.
So you also have Wesley, you have Rich Holland, Ethan Page, Eddie Thorpe. Eddie and Trick are going to fight for it. You could probably say Javon Evans if you really want to push him that far.
I was going to say Javon Evans, yeah. Like, he'd be a sensible choice, because Oba is a tweener. Like, in the sense of like alignments. Like, He's not a full-on face, but he's also not a full-on heel. It's just because he's fighting for heels at the moment, which is why he's a face. Like,
Oh, Ricky Saints.
yeah, no option. But
You
I
could
mean, when
do
it
Ricky
comes
Saints.
when it comes to Stand and Deliver, there's only really two people that they can do a quick turnaround and push them towards Stand and Deliver, and that, unfortunately, without going to TNA, that is Trick and Eddie Thorpe. You got Wesley, who's kind of involved with the Rascal thing. I don't think there's enough time to turn it around to build Wes as a viable contender. You've got Ridge isn't no one contender material. He just won't be. Plus, is that going to be the main event of Stand and Deliver? I don't know if it's Rich Holland. Is that what they're going to go with?
hell yeah,
They're going to go with Ober and Trick.
let's rerun the main event from, I think it was the last PLE. Ober, Trick, and Eddie.
No.
In a triple threat match.
We did the triple threat to get the title off of Trick, and Oba's been able to defend it the last few
And
times.
now
And
we
now,
do it again.
Now we're getting our
put the belt on
one-on-one.
Eddie.
No. I will say, I'm going to make a prediction here. I do not see Rich Holland winning it's going to probably backfire in my face, but I'll say it. I don't see Rich Holland being an employee of WWE much like after this year.
Wow.
Because there's not really much else you can do with him outside of him just being the asshole eel.
Mm.
Because
even now in NXT, he seems kind of condensed in what he's doing.
Yeah, he like, at least with the Brutes, at least with the Brawling Brutes, he had a sort of direction, and he had a role. Now that he's not with those guys, he doesn't really have a role, and he doesn't really have a direction in which he's like, all right, I'm just going to beat up these people and go after their title. Well, that failed. I'm going to beat up these people and take their title. Well, that failed. If step 1 fails and step 2 fails, step 3 is repeat step 1 and step 2.
Of course, yeah.
And that's just their booking for him.
With Rich, they kind of rushed the Chase U thing, in my opinion. You know, it was one match.
I don't think you should have killed.
Rich won. That was it.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's it now. All right. What's now? What's next? You got a future North American title, which you're not going to win because we've got other plans for the North American title.
The way it should have gone is, if you're going to kill Chase U and be the guy who kills Chase U, you've got to win a title. Like not if not immediately, like soon afterwards. Like, you kill one of NXT's most beloved factions. They've been there since 2.0 days. Like, you've got to build off that. You know, he had absolute heel heat. Ridge did at that time. Having him beat Trick at the time, who for whatever reason is over the crowd, that would have worked. Having him as world champion.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like,
you had the momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have liked it, but Ridge is better than Trick in that sense. Like, as a world champion. But like,
I mean, you could have done more with Ridge as world champion. But at the same time, Oba would have just been a transitional champion, in my opinion.
Yeah, he would have.
Because Oba would just come in and just wreck his house.
But again, that should have been how they should have done it, you know? Because you're supposed to dislike Ridge. Mm-hmm. Seeing Ridge beat the biggest babyface in the promotion at the time, and then to go and lose it to the up and coming next over guy. In terms of like popularity amongst the crowd and just dominance, that should have been the way. They just didn't do it. It was kind of just they did nothing with the Chase U thing. I mean, Chase U looked like he might be coming back in the next few months.
You could have done Ridge U. Just have him take. You won a school.
Yeah, literally.
You won an accredited university in a fight. Like, turn it into Ridge U, and do the thing that the
teach the
diamond thing was doing.
Yeah, teach the students the the evil ways of wrestling.
Yeah.
Have
Turn Thea Hale fully heel, and she aligns herself with Ridge.
or you have a rebel against Ridge because they don't want to learn that style of wrestling. Like Duke Hudson is the MVP. No, he's not.
Yeah.
He's now the evil P. I don't know. But
He's now looking for a new job currently. So
well, to be fair, he's killing it on those vignettes he's filming. But
yeah,
I don't know.
but
it feels like a waste opportunity.
And now Thea Hale's not doing anything. Like Chase Hughes, Chase is stuck in a.
Riley
I'm
Osborne
sad.
is on Evolve.
Yeah, at least Riley Osborne's. Yeah, but with Andre Chase, you've got nothing for him. He just shows up, he's sad, and that's his gimmick. I'm the sad man.
That is literally Baron Corbin in his last year or so.
Exactly, but it's not to the point of he's not homeless. He's still got a house to go back to.
We assume so anyway.
Whereas Corbin's homeless. So.
But anyway, the Moose and Oba match.
Yeah.
I loved this match. I really loved this match.
It was good.
It was one of the ones that when the TNA NXT announcement was made, everyone wanted to see this one. They've been teasing it for a while, and it finally happened. It built it across both promotions, which I love. So it just to see it pay off and to see people really pay attention to Moose. I'm really happy. It's the first time I've ever wanted Moose to win a match since, probably ever. But again, I thought the system were going to get involved in some way, but Oba was going to fight them off like he did on TNA on the Thursday, last Thursday. But just the reaction to it as well. I just loved this match, and it would have been I didn't expect Moose to win, but I kind of thought they might do it just for the shock factor.
Yeah,
that would have been monumental in terms of the wrestling world. So I get it, but I would have thought there was a slight chance I thought they may do this. When Moose hit the lights out spear the first time, because nobody kicks out of that. Unless it's a big match, you don't really kick out of that. You certainly don't kick out of two.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't kick out of two, he reversed the second. But it was just really well done, and Corey Graves especially really what's the word? Really bought into what Moose is doing. Moose is a threat to this title, and Corey Graves played that to perfection. Yeah.
I watching this match, definitely it was definitely the I could remember the meat chants during the triple threat for the North American title when Oba had it.
Yeah.
And just anytime they would smack each other in the chest, you just heard meat, and from the crowd, because they were just these giant big boys just smacking each other. And I like fun matches. Fun matches are my favorite match. Controversially, my favorite match of all time is Goldberg versus Lesnar at Mania 33.
Wow.
Because it's just non-stop stupidity and just balls to the wall, finisher after finisher after finisher, balls to the wall, 5 minutes done. It is so stupid and so crazy. I absolutely love that match. It's my favorite of all time. I'm sorry. I do not like decency. I'm as don't give me your 5 stars. Big meaty man slapping me, as Biggie says.
Mm-hmm.
This was a good match. I'd probably rate this 4 stars, maybe 4.5 if I was being generous.
Fair.
It's a good match for Oba to show off his ability. I think definitely Oba is someone who is more suited towards NXT than he is for the main roster. However, and this was an opinion I was going to get into. I think Oba's going to get stuck with a group in the main roster when he moves up, and I feel like if I was booking it, I'd book him with the New Day, and he replaces Big E in the New Day.
I can,
and that's his gimmick, because they absolutely need a big guy in that group to fight some of these other groups.
I hate the idea, but I also agree with the idea.
There you go, man. You hate it.
I don't, because the reason why is that I like Oprah by himself. Like, he is literally the ruler. Like, he don't need people with him. He's by himself. He can dominate anyone who's anyone. Like, he is literally the ruler. He's the guy who runs NXT. Like, there's a reason for that. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a reason why you don't put him in the Royal Rumble, because you don't want him to lose credibility by getting eliminated by someone.
I mean, they put other big men in the Royal Rumble, and they don't lose credibility because it takes 5-10 people to get rid of them.
Yeah, but
so like, there's
but that's like fat wrestlers. Like, it's not the same as like over me.
I mean, that's what they did with Kane and Big Show and Braun Strowman. It took like multiple people to take them out.
They're all fat wrestlers.
I don't know. I wouldn't call Braun Strowman fat.
Braun maybe not, but Kane and Big Show, absolutely.
Kane wasn't. I mean, Kane probably for a little bit was fat, but I don't think Kane was fat. And this is like it took 5 to 10 people to take you out of the Rumble in a match where you have to go over the top rope.
Yeah.
So if it takes that many people to take you out, I think that only adds to your aura, or it adds to your like, oh, I am so tough and so big that you have to have someone who is of equal size to me to take me on one-on-one, like a Bronson Reed. Yeah. Like, Bronson Reed and Oba would probably be
that would be a great
killer match.
Oh, I need that right now.
Let Bronson go to NXT.
Make it triple threat for the NXT title. Jacob Fatu in there.
There you go. Trick loses, goes to the main roster after it's been delivered.
Add Trick to that match and have all three men just squash him.
All three of them are on top of each other, and it's like, well, who pinned who? And he runs that mystery for like 2 months.
And somehow Trick still wins.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah. Trick kicks out at 2.
That's also a thing. Trick will lose his aura when he goes to the main roster, because he's not going to have Booker T. He's not going to have Booker T there.
He can lose the aura and just gain so much wrestling ability.
But actually, he could go to the main roster for a little bit. And the fans definitely welcomed him with open arms, because they definitely did yell, "Whoop that Trick!" So
yeah,
definitely Trick could probably do well in the main roster.
We'll see. We will see. However, let's get to the review. It is now time for an Instagram reel with Sol Ruka and Zarya. They're preparing for Sol's match with Chelsea Green next week. And doing it in a traditional way of Zarya, which is it means just a lot of smashing things, a lot of aggression, a lot of anger, just smashing a lot of stuff, like the destroy rooms you can get, like
and a shoey.
Yeah, and a shoey, which is I didn't know that was part of Zarya's culture, but then I thought Grayson Waller. I thought he's also Australian, Grayson Waller, who introduced us all to it.
Yeah.
So I was like,
axe throwing,
fair enough, and the axe throwing, of course. It was just a nonsense thing to throw in, basically. But just to tell you that next week we're getting Chelsea Green and Sol Ruka in a 1-on-1.
So Chelsea is not going to defend that title at WrestleMania. It's not happening.
Probably not.
Have a defender stand and deliver. Have a defend this at stand and deliver. What are we doing?
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. It could definitely be.
I think the main issue is if you're doing that at WrestleMania, like stand and deliver, Sol Ruka has to win. Whereas if you're doing it now, Chelsea can retain easily.
Put it on someone who's ready for the main roster.
Sol Ruka.
Roxanne.
Yeah,
Roxanne as United States champ,
honestly,
and then
it,
she
it,
could run the real American champ because Chelsea's Canadian.
Yeah. I don't know.
But you were gonna say, Craig. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, just that. I just think it should be at stand and deliver. I don't. Yeah.
It'll
These women's mid card titles. Like Chelsea's the only one that's got any personality in terms of being a champion. Lyra just gets to defend the title, and that's it. That's all she gets.
Yeah.
Like it just annoys me. But yeah.
I mean,
anyway.
I'm a Lyra Valkyria fan.
Same.
So next match, I guess.
Yeah, fair. Sorry, I thought we were going to talk about what's why I didn't say anything. After this, we go backstage, and we're joined by Fatal Influence and Ava. For those who didn't see it last week, there was a funny as fuck to me segment in the press room where after the interviews and stuff, Ava's on the pedestal answering questions, and then she's interrupted by Fatal Influence, and it's Fallon who's there with JC and Jasmine. She's like, "I want my title match. Where's my rematch? I want my rematch. Stop ignoring me, Ava." And
I mean, it's kind of perfect for Fallon to wait now because now technically she can get a match for the NXT Women's Championship as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Double the titles.
So yeah, Fallon wants her match still, which is fair enough, and Ava keeps avoiding the fucking question.
That group confuses me.
Not really, not to me anyway.
Well, it confuses me because I feel like JC Jane should be the one who's the leader, and not Fallon, because of the way JC has presented herself as the heel character. Is I'm the center of attention. It's me. It's all about me. It's not you. It's me. But yet Fallon Henley is the one that's propped up as I'm the one holding the belt, not you. But like they haven't had that internal turmoil yet, where Fallon comes back face.
They will eventually.
There's a few. Look, they're playing into it. There's a few looks. I think they're playing into it a bit more now.
Yeah. Like I just feel like JC should be the one who's going to screw over like Fallon, and she's gonna be like, "No, I want the title shot this time. Yeah. I should be the one in charge. I'm the one who's the face." I literally kicked my old partner in the face through a door and put her on the shelf to get to this spot.
Yeah.
And then we can get a ladder match for the custody of Jasmine Nix.
Yes.
There you go.
But yeah, so she asks, and Ava basically ignores her. But never mind all that, because here comes Ricky Saints. And he's here to question once again the constant anger and aggression in NXT.
I love this so much.
Pardon me. And then JC appears. Well, JC appears. JC says that she thinks Rich Holland was right last week in that when Rich said to Ricky that he does not belong here. And Ricky says he's getting really annoyed at that comment, and he wants to nip that in the bud. So he wants to fight Ridge next week. So Ava makes that official. Bear in mind, he just appeared and asked for a match, and she gave him it. Fallon's been asking for like the last week or two for a match, and Ava's been completely ignoring her.
Ava's eyeing a role in politics. I'll answer everything but the question.
Yeah.
I have a gripe with Ricky Saints.
Uh-oh.
It's not him personally. It's the name.
Oh yeah.
When people announced the name, I said you had two really good options right in front of you, and you did not take them. Ricky Manning, because Archie Manning was the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints when they first came into existence. Ricky Manning.
Yeah.
Or
Ricky
Breeze, as in Drew Brees, the quarterback who won the Super Bowl for the Saints right after the whole Katrina catastrophe.
Or
like
Ricky
Breeze.
Ricky NFL.
Which one sounds better growing off the tongue? Ricky Breeze or Ricky Manning?
Starks.
Because it's a lot. It's a lot of Starks, yeah. But like Ricky, like if you couldn't use Starks and you had to go with one of the three, personally, I'd go with Ricky Breeze because you could be like, well, I'm going to cool you down like a breeze.
I would remove all surnames and call him just Ricky, and leave it at that.
Ricky S.
No,
that's my gripe.
Of the Spirit Squad.
That's my biggest gripe is the name. That's my hill to die on.
That's fair. That is fair. But yeah, even Page appears now to say that NXT does not like outsiders, specifically outsiders like Ricky Starks, Saints, and that he does not belong here before heading into his match, which is all kinds of ironic because just a few months ago he was exactly that outsider.
Exactly.
How long has Ethan Page been in NXT for?
A few months.
Since just before. It's nearly been a year in terms of PLA.
Like he came in one time.
Yeah.
Got pinned by Muzza 5 times.
Yeah. Lost his smile.
Yeah, that too. Regained it by taking runs.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
I guess this transitioning into that match then.
Exactly. Yeah. It is time for the fourth match of the night. It is the New York City street fight between Ethan Page and Javon Evans. In a match that was filled with weapons, filled with blood, and lots of fighting.
What? Really? Did anybody actually bleed in this?
I don't think so.
Minus Javon Evans.
There was a little bit. There was a little bit of blood, but not much.
Yeah.
But who would win this absolute war? The answer would be Javon Evans, who wins after a springboard cutter to Ethan with his head wrapped in a chair.
Damn, that was nasty.
I rate this 4.5 stars. This is how you do it. This is how you do a street fight that's embroiled in a personal feud. I just wish they did more with the arena, or they really did more on the outside of the ring. It's like, it's called a street fight. Like, please, just use something that's not the ring. Like, go to the street, literally go outside. Like, do something. Like, I remember back in the old days of wrestling, like, you'd have a full-time anywhere match, like, and they'd be literally fighting outside. Like, outside the arena. And it was like, I miss stuff like that. Like, don't know, Al Snow and Big Boss Man in the 90s. They fought in a literal bar.
Yeah.
Like, they fought on the outside.
I
miss that kind of street fight.
Yeah. Also, a street fight should be force count anywhere.
It should, yeah, absolutely.
That's not a bad idea. Do you guys remember playing? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying it's ridiculous. Yeah, I hate. That's one of my bugbears in pro wrestling is just like, get that in the bin. Put it in the bin. Do it properly.
Yeah.
Force anywhere, and also, do we have a system of what stuff they use in a no DQ match? It's a bunch of chairs, it's a couple of tables, 3 candlesticks, maybe a ladder, and a couple of trash cans, and that's it. That's the format, and it. Oh yeah. Don't
forget your kendo sticks. But you guys, I'm not sure if you guys have played it. I'm not sure how old you guys are. But there was the SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. The one.
That's game.
Hell yeah.
I think it was the one with Brock on the cover. I think there was one also the year prior.
And you know, like Times
Shut
Square.
Your mouth. There's Times Square right there.
Yeah,
you go out there, you can fight in Times Square. Literally, there was the WWE cafe. Mm-hmm. You could go in, and you can go in there and fight in there.
It's amazing.
Like, if you're gonna call this a quote unquote street fight, start it in the street. Like, literally start it on the sidewalk of Madison Square Garden, where you have people who are walking by who are looking at this and being like, what the hell is this? And going like, wow, these guys are literally trying to kill each other. Like, like throw a fake trash can out there with trash in it, and they're just throwing it at each other. Like, get silly with it. You can be a little silly with it, but like, just go bananas if you're gonna call it a street fight. And even then, I would probably, in order of matches, I'd probably think that this match, because of the reaction that got from the crowd, this match I feel like this match was better than the main event. So I would probably put this as the main event, considering how much you're gonna do and how much you're gonna try to get away with.
I'm gonna slightly spoil it. This is my match of the night.
Yes, absolutely.
Banger. Yeah.
4.7 stars, 4.75 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Valid. Yeah, they delivered. Like the cutter, Javon over the ropes onto Ethan on the apron to the table, balanced on the announce table in the ring. Oh, I mean, even though Ethan didn't really go to the table, the visual of it was excellent.
They are setting Javon up to be a star.
Yeah, they are.
He is going to be. Man. I don't know who I don't know who I would compare him to on the main roster if there is anybody.
Don't think there is, to be honest.
Probably best not to, because I think he is his own breed. He is going to be that high flyer, do what you can, careless. Jeff Hardy. Because of the high flying, probably because of Jeff. Like, he's going to be a star. Absolutely going to be a star. Like,
yeah.
If I haven't reiterated that.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't watch NXT on a weekly basis and you saw Javon, you think he's the next guy.
Yeah.
And that's I cannot fault that this booking.
Mm-hmm.
With a match like this, yeah, absolutely, agreed.
But of course, now we're probably due that third match between them because they're 1-1.
Yeah. But then where'd you go? Maybe a steel cage.
Just up
had a lot of them.
Up the ante. Can from hell. Just a bunch of loose dogs. Just
or even better, an Elevation X match.
I would like that. I would like that.
Yeah, Stuff with job. Since we want to do it there, yes, please.
You know what? Even page from TNA, right? Monsters Ball.
Yeah. I mean, Ethan Page did say his dream match to compete in TNA was the Elevation X. Just saying.
There you go. But yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with this, including an actual street fight. You could do them actually on the outside, like use the NXT parking lot. It's used for so much.
Yeah. Promote the new game.
Yeah, exactly.
Which uses the NXT parking lot.
It's a lot more they could have done with it in terms of the restrictions on the match. Like it barely went in the crowd. Like it was all around ringside or in the ring. I mean, Ethan fell over the barrier once and then fell back over it.
Yeah. Like, remember the old games? Like, you had, like, parking lot brawl, you had a bar brawl, you had, like the PS2 games, like, just, not, like, shut your mouth and here comes pain. You could venture outside. You could go into the parking lot area. You can go to the boiler room.
Yeah.
You can go, like...
The literal street.
Yeah, the literal street. Like, there's so many things you can do. Like, and I get nowadays there's safety precautions and stuff like that. I get that. But, like, you have it in a controlled environment. Like, use the area around the venue to do it.
Or use the performance center and do an empty arena match.
Yeah, that too. Or just fight in the venue. Like, fight in the corridors. Like, fight...
fight in the gym.
Yeah. It's one of the matches I'll give credit for is Money in the Bank 2020. When they had the mixed men's and women's in the same match, and they wrestled all over WWE HQ.
That's right. Good. Yeah, the Money in the Bank match. Yeah, I love that match. That was great. No,
Even though,
Baron Corbin just murdering two
two
people.
people were thrown off the roof.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio just heads up, showing up the next night completely fine.
Yeah.
But after Black, he's gone for a while.
Yeah.
And he's okay, folks.
He was murdered on TV.
Oh my goodness. It's like, you bring up those match types, and it's like you can definitely use that match though to also transition into new feuds.
Mhm.
Like maybe someone else is going to come after Javon. Because we haven't got to that part yet, but after the match, you had the 4 mystery guys show up, and they came down and they attacked Javon and Ethan.
Yeah.
We still don't know their names.
We know at least 2 of them. But
Also, if you go to the SmackDown hotel, it tells you who they are.
oh, there you go. Then,
Yeah.
we know.
You mean the Shield Tribution?
Yeah.
Heel
Like,
Tribution, yeah.
It's literally 2 of them just refused to put their masks on. Like you can see their full face. Like
Yeah. Well, one of them had the mask fall, and he put the mask back up and was like, "Very solid, bro."
yeah. That
You
is.
know who you are.
So there's Shaquan Sugars, who is Lucky Ali on the Indies, and the other one being Dion Lennox. And the other 2 I don't know off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
like Dion Lennox being involved is quite good, but then it needs to know a direction now because they've attacked who? They've attacked OFME, they've attacked the NQCC, they've attacked Javon now. They
attacked what's his face in the one manager in Ava's office.
yeah, Stone, yeah.
Robert Stone.
Yeah.
They attacked Fraxium and Briggs and Namora.
Yeah.
They need a female member to go after the women.
I think they do have one. Because they laid out Red Sinclair.
Oh, did they? I didn't see that.
In the AKCC one, they attacked all of them, including Ren.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
And
Okay.
I know WWE
Never mind.
aren't fond on like intergender violence. So to me, that indicate that there's a woman involved somewhere.
Now in the new WWE 2K game, you can have intergender fights, and you can fight in the NXT parking lot.
That is true. Yeah.
Going back to the street fight. Like, do that. Use it as a promotional tool to push the game and to be like, hey, look what you can do. You can fight in the parking lot, like Javon and Ethan are doing now.
Yeah.
So
literally, that is how you could do, but they chose not to do that. So, bit of waste, but oh well.
yeah.
After this, we go on to a vignette with Sean Spears and Co. They've got a name now, as we already alluded to earlier. They're called the Culling. And next week, Sean Spears instructs Nico, Brooks, and Izzy to take the hearts of Tony D's family.
I like that name.
I do too, actually.
I like that name.
It's okay.
Yeah. But
I wasn't here for the reveal of their makeovers, but Jensen looks. He should never have had long hair. They've got the looks down. Even though everything done with Izzy's made it a bit more gothic, it still works.
here's the thing:
Picture
the old Brooks used to look like Jack Perry, and that was the main issue. So having him change the way he looks now is the right call because now he looks like Brooks Jensen and not Jack Perry.
He would the way that he looks in the graphic that I have here, the way that he looks in this 6-person tag match, he looks like he would be a member of the Wyatt family, and he would fit in so well. With just the way he looks.
In that graphic, he looks like a mix, like the birth child of Jack Perry and Ethan Page.
Yeah, but that's good. Like that smile though, it's so off-putting on him. It's such an off-putting smile. Yeah, but like it's like a hey, are you new around here? I got a patch of woods that you might like to see. Don't mind the holes; they're for other people.
Hey, fellow kids.
Just carry a skateboard with her, like.
Hello, my fellow children.
So yeah, after this, we get an interview now with Eddie Thorpe. Now, someone, I don't know who, someone decided it'd be a great idea to do a live interview with Eddie Thorpe in front of the crowd. You can barely hear what's being said.
That might be the reason why.
Yeah.
Prove that there's a reaction for Eddie Thorpe.
Yeah. So he's basically just trash talking Trick, saying that Trick doesn't like to get hit, and that Eddie is the underground king. And just like the old adage in wrestling, you say someone's name in a promo, and they're going to appear. Because here comes Trick, and Trick attacks Eddie and clears him out the ring. And they're going underground next week.
That's gonna be an interesting match. I truly expect, like, Trick is going to win that match.
Yeah, you should.
Gotta tie it up.
Yeah.
Gotta tie it up.
Because you remember, like, the only person, I think Eddie won. Yeah, Eddie won the last underground match in NXT that he had. So, he's got the advantage there, technically. And he'll
competed in one, yeah.
And he'll beat Trick, and he'll go on to face Ober Stand Deliver. Eddie Thorpe. But yeah, that's what it was. It's just a bit more build for next week. After that, we get a Twitter post by Chelsea Green, who is appalled by NXT ruling that she has to defend her US title against Sol Ruka, and the main reason there we go, that she feels that way is because she don't want to do it, and that's it. God bless America, and God bless Chelsea Green. Love it.
Yeah, we already kind of talked about it.
Yeah.
Got my own opinions on Chelsea, but we move.
That's fair. After this, we go on to the fifth match and the main event of the Roadblock. It is for both the Women's NXT World and the Women's NXT North American Championships. We have champion Stephanie Vicaire taking on champion Julia. And in this monumental main event, in a title for title to unify both the primary and secondary singular titles for the women's division in NXT, who would come out on top? And the answer would be Stephanie Vicaire, who wins. Who wins following 3 SVBs or package rep breakers. I rated 4 stars. Now, I know there was a lot of reports saying Julia's injured, or that she was injured, or working injured. Because if she is actually injured, like,
she didn't show it
exactly. Like, you couldn't tell at all. But if she's injured, I hope she takes the necessary time off that she needs to and come back healthy. As for Vicaire, the title win makes her an addition to the very exclusive club of holding 2 singles titles simultaneously within WWE. There are not many who've done that.
Yeah.
No.
The match itself was great though.
Second one.
2 warriors going at it, absolute war, bunch of counter wrestling going on, as well as special based stuff, strikes, holds, all over the shop. A major display of professional wrestling between a pair of them, and I loved it.
I'd probably go 3.5 stars with this one. I'm not going to rate it as high as you did with 4. It was an okay match. Like I said, it wouldn't, for what it was and for what it was worth, it's a good main event. It's just compared to what you had on the rest of the roster, it's not going to be the match that everyone's going to remember it for.
Yeah.
Definitely the rumors going into the match of Julia being injured. That was definitely something that, I talked to some of my people, and they're like, "Oh, who's going to win this?" And I said, "Well, I think it's going to be Stephanie, because they're definitely going to set up Stephanie." Stephanie was the first person they signed out of the 3 that they signed from outside the United States. Stephanie was the first one that they wanted to bring in. She's the one with the biggest reaction. I think if Julia is injured, it's got to be either a nagging injury or it's something we're not seeing, or something we just don't know about. so they've just been really, really mum on it. Out of the three, Stephanie's been the one who's been packaged the best. I think the one that they packaged the worst is Zarya, with her being with Soroka, because they showed you Zarya being this really powerful person, and she's in a tag team division match. So, like, yeah, like, I mean, me personally, it was a good match. 3.3.5 stars. I don't know where else. I don't know. You definitely have a set of women who are definitely hungry, as we've said, Fallon Henley, and probably and a few others.
Yeah. No, I do agree. And this match, there's a couple of reasons why I didn't really. I enjoyed the match, but it's because I couldn't get invested as much as I wanted to be. One, we had 2 weeks build. 2, all the rumors flying around of one of them is injured, but then it's Julia who's injured, and so just waiting for Stephanie to get the win now. That was my mindset going into this match. Okay, just waiting for Stephanie to get the win. It's going to be good. I understand if the rumors are true about Julia being hurt, which, as you said, if based off that match, it doesn't look like it. But obviously, we don't know what's going on with whatever, if she's working hurt or anything like that. But I really wanted this match to deliver. Like, they mentioned that Stephanie becomes the second ever woman to hold 2 singles titles at the same time after Becky Lynch. And it just, I thought, but it doesn't mean as much because the Women's North American title has had, 3 champions? Like, it doesn't feel important, that title, because it hasn't had time to become important. He put it on Kalani, and her run was fine. There's nothing special about it, personally. And then Fallon dropped it pretty quickly, and now all of a sudden it's essentially unified with the women's championship. It feels a bit rushed, forced, and predictable.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Keith Lee win both the North American and the NXT Championship, and he dropped one optionally? He said, "I'm going to focus on the world. I'm going to drop the North American. Hopefully, whoever the next champion is, they're a worthy champion." And they had a tournament for it.
I believe that's right.
That could be something they do with Stephanie, where she's like, "I don't want to fight for 2 titles. I only want the one. So I'm dropping the North American. We're going to have our tournament where maybe JC and Fallon Henley get into it with each other, and that's tension set right there.
Yeah.
And then you have a plethora of women fighting each other for that title, like your Kalani Jones and other people. Kalani Jones?
Jordan.
Kalani Jordan, thank you.
Kalani Jones.
With that, the Keith Lee comparison of dropping the NXT North American title, the women's North American title, except it hasn't been around that long. If we're on the 3rd champion, and that 3rd champion then relinquishes that title because she doesn't deem it worthy enough or has enough focus to put on that title, I think that damages the title. And then to have another tournament, to kind of another champion, you can't vacate a title 3 champions in, because it does unfortunately hurt the championship, and it's already not in the best position in that no disrespect to Kalani, but Kalani shouldn't have been the first champion because she wasn't really established. Like, they tried to use that title to build Kalani instead of using the champion to build the title. Then again with Fallon, she dropped it quickly, and now it's always good from now on, unless Stephanie relinquishes it or loses it. that North American title is always going to be next to the Women's Championship, and it's not going to do it any favors in terms of making it something worth winning.
What they could do is you could have Fallon Henley get her rematch, but because of shenanigans, as I like to call them, because of Fatal Influence getting involved, and with Julia not being around because of the quote-unquote injury that we're not sure if actually is an injury, she doesn't have that backup to retain the title. And there's more people who are going to go after Stephanie than help her, so she could lose the title via a roll-up where Fallon grabs the rope. And Stephanie could say in an interview, I would go back after the title, but I have this one and I'm going to focus on this one now. So they can go off with that one, and then Fallon gets that title back because you've already done the title versus title match. She doesn't need it anymore. Fallon gets it back, and then now Fallon can go and run through Kalani, and she could run through a whole host of other people. Maybe even people within her own group come after her. Definitely. And if you want to use it as a vehicle for turning her back face versus somebody, definitely. There is a way that you can have her drop the title. It is in a respectful way. It is not a disrespect to the title itself. Many times, because then also you have the first 2-time NXT North American Women's Champion in Fallon Henley. So also you make a bit of history there, because WWE absolutely love making history. So if you can make history while at the same time moving the belt off of Stephanie, and so it has its own path, and then Stephanie can go the other way. That's how I would do it.
Yeah. See, again, I can kind of picture that happening, but then it almost feels like the only reason so they couldn't just push. To me, it seems like they couldn't just push Stephanie to having being number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship. She had to win a title from someone who had barely held it, just to justify having that match of Stephanie and Julia. It just feels a bit iffy to me, because this title needs more. And there are options, of course. I think of Gianna Peraza when she was the Ring of Honor Women's and the AAA Reign of the Reigners champion. She had a champ challenge where you could choose the title you wanted to go for. Mm-hmm. That could be a way forward. I'm just concerned about this title because it hasn't had the great start, and now, as I said, it's always going to be associated until with a unifier or just disband,
abolish.
Just drop the title. That's the word. So it's either Stephanie defends both titles at the same time, which then kind of takes the shine off the Women's North American title, or Stephanie drops the title and then you've got a relinquished championship after its third champion, or you've got no North American Championship anymore. I can't. I'm trying to figure out a way around it, to be honest, in my head.
If you really want to, go ahead.
I'll say I think I agree more with Craig on this particular point, in that if someone holds both titles, you're always gonna sort of not tier list them, but you're gonna have a sort of hierarchy in regards to this title is higher than this title. And this title is more prestigious than that one because it's been around longer, it has bigger names that have held it, has more longevity in the company. And the Women's North American title has been around for how long? Half a year, if that?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So it's not, as Craig said, this is now the third holder of the title as well. And to just drop it in favour of holding another one really devalues that title. No matter, even if Fallon was to hold on to, even if Fallon was to get it again for the second time and make history with it, but it was still devalued because Stephanie McMahon is actively choosing to disregard that title, to drop it in favour of holding on to the main title.
And well, I was just say that with, for instance, so take kayfabe out of it and all that stuff. So they want to, do we want to present this as as realistic? Yeah. So you go to any woman backstage in NXT, Stephanie's got both titles, and they go, which one do you want to challenge for? They're going to choose the women's championship, and that's so it's because it's just they're going to be associated with each other now, and that's going to hurt the North American title. Yeah,
We'll see. We'll definitely see.
I hope they've got a plan.
Yeah,
I'm sure they do.
they should do.
It's gonna be Stephanie loses it in a match because of shenanigans, or she drops it and there's a tournament.
Yeah. But however it goes, I'm sure we'll see in the coming weeks or months. But with that in mind, that does bring an end to this episode 80, and to this review. As always, you can follow everyone on the links on the screen. But for anyone who's on the audio, Jersey, where people find you if they want to follow you online.
If you want to find me, I am at Giant683 on Twitter. That's where you can find me. Most of my stuff is auto racing because I'm a big racing fan. So if you want to talk racing, that's where. Otherwise, that's really about it. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you for coming on. Mr. Fat Craig, where people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, if you're still on there, at Mr. Impact Craig. You can find me on TikTok, at Mr. Impact Craig. You can find me on Blue Sky, the Blue Sky dot whatever it is, Mr. Impact Craig. And you can find me on Instagram, Mr. _Impact Craig, as well as my podcast on Spotify, Calling the Spots, your new weekly Wrestling Roundup podcast, hosted by me, that MIC, and also interviews coming back to the YouTube channel in the next week. If you follow Kamikaze Pro Wrestling, just keep an eye out for over the next week and a bit. Got a big guest coming on from Kamikaze, so that's on YouTube, at Mr. Impact Craig on YouTube.
Nice.
Yeah.
And as well for myself, if you're so inclined, I'm on Twitter at DpuizY. But otherwise, the podcast is down at the bottom of the screen. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter or X, Blue Sky, and TikTok. Other than that, please like the video, share the videos, comment on the video. So what did you like? What did you like? What did you like? What did you dislike? And please, as always, subscribe to the channel. It's free, helps out, and it helps us get towards our goals. So much appreciated. But that mind, that does bring us
Real quickly, according to Sean Ross Sapp, Jeff Cobb is on the WWE's internal roster. So maybe he goes to NXT.
Jeff,
and he's the one taking the title off of Oba.
Femi, I don't mind that match whatsoever.
Sorry, just wanted to throw that out there real quick.
Fair enough.
So, thank you for having me again.
The ever-trusted news source of Sean Ross Sapp.
Yeah. Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
No
worries.
Just like me.
But as always, that'll be the end of the episode. I've been Dan DpuizY. I've been joined by the wonderful Mr. Matt Craig, and joined by the wonderful Jersey, who hopefully can come back one day. We don't know for certain yet, but hopefully he'll come back if you want to come back.
I'd love to.
Please come back. Please come back.
But with that in mind, that does bring an end to this.
Minus 5 stars.
Oh. We will see.
For me.
We will see you guys in the next one. Peace.